All right, guys, so today we're going to review organizational patterns, just kind of like how we would in real school. So, what we're going to do basically, I'm going to be the teacher. We're going to review some examples of the patterns. There's four passages. I'm going to ask you to do exactly what I would ask my kids to do in class, which is I'm going to read it and just jot down like number 1 to 4 on your paper real quick. You're not going to have to explain. That way, I'm going to read a passage and you write down which of the patterns you think it is, and then I'll just say like push pause if you need more time. That's the cool thing about video instruction. And now I'll tell you what the right answer is and why. So this is just practice for the sake of learning. If you have follow-up questions, since I'm recorded right now, you can just shoot your teacher a message. All right, so this first one says the surface of the earth is divided into pieces called tectonic plates. These plates move. When the plates rub against each other, they do not move smoothly. When the plates do not move smoothly, earthquakes result. Some parts of the world get more earthquakes than other parts. The parts of the earth that get most earthquakes are near the edges of these plates. How is the text structured? So just push pause if you need more time. Pause myself. I've started drinking this Coke Energy, sugar free. It has those energy things in it like guarana. I don't know where you buy guarana, but when I drink stuff like that, it makes me feel more awake. Could just be because it has that word on it, though. All right. So anyway, also sometimes you need to pause and mute me too if you're not used to my style. Sometimes I just ramble during dead times. All right. So this is cause and effect right here. The reason why it's a cause and effect is you could almost put it into a sentence using those words. You could say tectonic plates rubbing against each other causes earthquakes. Boom. We're good to go. Other keywords that help me identify cause and effect are things like therefore, comma, which isn't in this one, but also the word result. So a lot of times your teachers might have taught you a transition like as a result, comma, blah, blah, blah. It's a good one to use in a power paragraph at some point. And also this one has the word result right here. All right, earthquakes result from it. Cool. And if you have any questions, shoot your teacher a message. I'm going to go kind of fast for the sake of your time right now, but we're always happy to answer follow up questions. All right, this one says some countries, such as Japan, or parts of a country like California in the US, have a lot of earthquakes. In these places, it is a good practice to build houses and other buildings so they will not collapse when there is an earthquake. This is called seismic design or earthquake proofing. How is the text structured? Pause me now if you need a minute. All right, right on. So this one is what we call problem solution. And the problem is there's a lot of earthquakes. The solution is, yeah, let's build some houses that won't collapse. They're earthquake proof. Sometimes you will see the transition therefore also in this one. Like if you have a problem in a class and you're like, I was really confused about X thing, therefore, comma, I asked my teacher for help, something like that. Or I'm really tired, therefore I need to sleep more. So therefore kind of works as a transition for both cause and effect and problem solution. All right, next up. Hurricane Katrina began as Tropical Depression 12 over the southeastern Bahamas on August 23, 2005. The depression later strengthened into a tropical storm on the morning of August 24th, where the storm was also named Katrina. Katrina continued to move into Florida and became a Category 1 hurricane only 2 hours before it made landfall around Hallandale Beach on the morning of August 25th. The storm weakened over land but became a hurricane again when entering the Gulf of Mexico. How is the text structured? Feel free to pause me, go back and look at your choices of the organizational patterns, whatever you got to do. I'll have another sip of my Guarana Coca Cola. And so this one, you can almost do like a slash or trash process of elimination as well. There's not anything explaining the cause of the hurricane or how people solved the problem. But if you see a lot of dates and numbers, and you can look at it and they go in order. Like we got August 23rd, August 24th, August 25th. That's just chronological. And I think they teach that structure at younger grade levels as well. You probably know the word chronological. So don't let the more complicated types of organizational patterns trip you up from the ones you already know. All right, last one. The ability of a building to withstand the stress of an earthquake depends upon its type of construction, shape, mass distribution, and rigidity. Different combinations are used to reduce stress. First, the building's ground floor must be flexible. One method is to support the ground floor with extremely rigid hollow columns, while the rest of the building is supported by flexible columns located inside the hollow columns. A different method is to use rollers or rubber pads to separate the base columns from the ground, allowing the columns to shake parallel during an earthquake. Next, the outdoor walls should be made with stronger and more reinforced materials such as steel or reinforced concrete. Then, to help prevent collapsing, the roof should be made out of lightweight materials. Pause me if you need to. All right, so this one's a little tricky, I think. If you look here, you might have noticed, and you might need to pause me for real because it's like a big piece of text. Like, I'm not going to stare at the camera for a minute, but if you need to pause for a minute or two or three because you're engaging with the text, do your thing. That's what I would do in real class. Real class, I wouldn't be going this fast. So I'm saying that again just as a heads up. All right, you might have noticed a transition like first up here, which might have got your eyeballs or your brain moving toward chronological. You might notice something like next. You might notice something like then. However, this one is not a time based telling us a story, it's putting things in order. Therefore, the right answer would be sequence. An example of sequence would be, let's say, a recipe would tell you things to do in order. A lot of times, not the ingredients part, but the do stuff in order part. But it's not usually going to say at 9:05 a.m., take your eggs and scramble them or whatever time y'all eat breakfast. I know some of my people are getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning. So the difference, if you think about the root word, chrono means time. So chronological, it's going to be time based or date based or like when the specific things happen. And sequence is just telling you the right order to do things, if that makes sense. All right, so just to recap, our right answers were cause and effect, then problem solution, then chronological, then sequence. This went a little over 5 minutes because I couldn't stop myself from reading slower and making you take your time a little bit. But with all of these videos, the beauty of they call it asynchronous, meaning not at the same time. The beauty of all this stuff is y'all can move at your own pace. You can go back, you can rewind, you can pause, and you can hit up your teachers with questions. All right. Thanks for being good students, y'all. See ya.